Hey, welcome everybody to Views from the Bridge, your second favorite podcast about probably not your favorite team anymore. But we're going to spend some time talking about what happened in Philly this weekend. Chuck, how was your half marathon?
Actually, so it's funny because, like the Union, I took about 22 days off since I didn't run much in preparation of it to not blow my knee out. But unlike the Union, I performed.
Yeah, I think we did we take all the performance juju away from Philadelphia this weekend?
I didn't do anything, so I couldn't have been at fault for that. But yeah, congrats to you guys on Saturday, and then I spent Sunday watching people. And I don't mean this is gonna sound bad, and then it's also gonna be one of those things where it's like, okay, but you don't run, so you wouldn't have any room to stand here. If you drink like 3 of the tiny cups of water at one spot, are you not just paying the walk at that point?
I mean, multiple people were like taking like shots of alcohol from people, which I could not imagine. But I could not imagine doing that.
I did see an Instagram reel today that somebody ran the marathon on Sunday, and their thing was every time they saw alcohol along the course, they drank it. So I'm not kidding. He probably had 12 to 15 shots plus like 2 or 3 beers along the marathon route. And but I was thinking about it, and I'm like, you're probably sweating most of that out before it, if you're actually running, you're probably sweating most of that out before it even
well, and I
affects
mean,
you.
what's great is you can't really get lost, right? Because you're kind of cattle shot into a traffic pattern. So like they know where they're going to end up. So that's probably pretty helpful.
Yeah, even for the half, I never actually looked at the course before running it.
No, I didn't look at it. I mean, I looked at the course, but I don't know Philly. Like, I don't know that part of Philly well enough to know where I was running. So I was like, oh, cool. This is where I'm going to end up at some point. I'm going to run away from the art museum, and then I'm going to be back at the art museum at some point in time. A couple hours later. We could keep talking about this, but
yeah,
I don't really want to talk about the thing that we. I don't really want to talk about the thing that we have to talk about.
That was actually the only interesting thing that happened in Philly sports this weekend.
It's true.
You're not incorrect.
True.
Well, no, the Flyers kicked the Devil's ass at one point, but I think that was earlier this week.
To be fair, the Sixers and Flyers are both very early in their season, so like this is not.
Yeah, but even Embiid was out for most of the past week, and is still out today, I think. So yeah.
Hey, guys, guys, you know who had a really good weekend? Phil Wedding probably had a really, really good weekend. And if people don't know, that's the goalkeeper coach for the Philadelphia Union.
Well, actually, the USL Players Association had a good weekend.
They did.
They also had a great weekend.
They had a wonderful weekend. They did. Do we just want to talk about the Riverhounds game? I mean, nothing really happened in that one either.
Oh my god! I almost fell asleep trying to watch that game, since after the half marathon, I got home and was told, if this game goes to extra time, you have to write about it. Which obviously everyone knew that no one was going to score a goal in that game, considering the team's playing. And then I'm like on my couch in pain, trying to watch this, and nothing is happening.
No.
It was the most amazing the highlights of that game. If you go back and watch the official highlights posted on YouTube.
Yeah, props to whoever threw those together.
It's like 4 highlights in the first half, halftime whistle, second half kickoff, full-time whistle. and there's literally not a highlight. There's not a single highlight that they pulled from the second half of that game.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I was like, that's amazing.
That was
Yeah, if you
about
guys
the
don't know what
most
happened,
Riverhounds way to win a soccer game. By the way.
if you are not the USL nerds that the three of us are,
Man, we're
the
just trying to find shit that's not the Union to talk about.
no,
Don't
this is
don't put that on everybody
it's worth
else.
talking about. It's worth talking about. The USL Championship final was this weekend between the Riverhounds, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and FC Tulsa. The players, in true USL fashion, came out in T-shirts at the beginning of the game that said USL HQ promotion or relegation ? Maybe try pro standards first. That was coupled with in the second half of the game, or at the beginning of the second half of the game, both supporters groups, or all the supporters groups who were in the stadium, holding up signs that had the same sort of message on it. Due to all of that, the USL HQ, to our knowledge, canceled the trophy presentation, essentially, for the Riverhounds, and made them just do their own trophy presentation after giving the USL League One champions last Saturday the full trophy presentation with the stage and the decorations and all of that. To anybody's knowledge in the stadium, apparently all that stuff was brought to Tulsa and not used because of the message before the game. So it is going to be very interesting to see in the offseason the negotiations between the USL Players Association and USL and what happens there going forward. Really fun stuff. Third keeper for the Riverhounds was Union Development, whatever, goalkeeper Ben Martino, our former Union goalkeeper academy kid. Ben Martino was in the third keeper, so not even on the 18, but we'll get the whatever the medal or whatever that the players get for being on the roster. Guys, the Union season comes crashing down once again to NYCFC.
Shouldn't we actually shouldn't we rewind a little bit to that fun thing that happened about the person who was suspended that's not involved?
I was going to come back to that.
Okay, I didn't know if we were going. I didn't know if we were going in chronological order. Or
yeah, let's do on field, off field. Why not? I'm sure both of them will be fairly rapid anyway.
I'll give you my feelings about the game first. Usually I ask your feelings first. I'll give you my feelings first this time, and then you guys can react. The Union look like they haven't played soccer in 22 days. They look like the announcers kind of indicated during the game that they had played a inter squad scrimmage that was feisty with stadium noise and all of that, something or other during the week that was fairly feisty and all of that kind of stuff. And that's kind of actually what the Union looked like playing. They had no shape, no form.
Yeah.
Were pulled out of position time and time again.
That felt like such a cop-out when they were like bringing that up on the broadcast. Like, oh yeah, they haven't played in 22 days, and like Andre Blake tried to qualify for the World Cup and now is in the playoff, and like Danley Jane Jog qualified for the World Cup, and it's like, yeah. We see when the Union actually start the season after playing these inter-squad friendlies, and they suck. So we got that yet again. And basically every team that played 3 games in their first round series actually looked like an appropriate team, and the ones that didn't. And of course, this is the last time that we're going to see this playoff format. So just great.
And I think this is why, because I think last year was it not roughly the same thing, where it was if you got through your games kind of too quick. It didn't, like, the advantage of winning the 2 games in a row really didn't show itself. And,
Yeah, but last year it was funny because it was Miami.
oh yeah. Yeah.
That is the unfortunate situation where it's always funnier when it's not your team. And it wasn't the first round for the Union, so it's still like not
Right.
the same.
No.
And also, I don't know, it's coming to terms with this season is just really tough.
So I mean, there's that, right? And like obviously you don't want to fall on that because you have to play a game. Like it's you still, this is a game that you shouldn't have any trouble getting into. It's New York City. You win and you get into the Eastern Conference final. Like I don't know. You had plenty of momentum after you beat Chicago. I mean, I think we kind of predicted this was going to be sort of a hard one to gauge. But New York City did what they probably planned to do, which is score early. And then Matt Freese decided to remind everyone, and to his credit, like the 3 of us have watched Matt Freese since 2019, whenever he came back from Harvard with Bethlehem. And, he was a good keeper then. And we were sort of upset that he had to leave, but we knew that, he wasn't getting the top spot over Dre, and he needed games. Would it be nice if he'd stopped doing this to us? Sure. But, I mean, we knew that was going to happen. And so, yeah, I'm mad that Matt stood on his head, but if this was against any other team, we'd be like, oh, Philadelphia Union, the goalkeeper team. We're on a generational run of, I think there's 5 goalkeepers off the top of my head that I can name that this academy has produced that have played in meaningful games in late months in American soccer.
I will
Sorry,
say,
4. Dre doesn't count.
Why did the Union always have to keep playing against Matt Freese in these moments, though? Because I am kind of over that now.
Same deal.
And it also is annoying that even with his performance, it still at least should have been 1-1 when Jean-Jacques had his header that he couldn't get on frame. And I mean, I know he doesn't do headers, but like between that and Frankie Westfield trying to no longer be a defender anymore, which he's during these playoffs made a pretty solid case that he should get a run as winger to start off next season, since Quinn Sullivan won't be healthy then.
Yeah, and he's probably the guy that I feel most bad for after this game, because there's so many people looking at him and blaming him for not scoring his 2 chances.
Mm-hmm.
I get that a little bit. The second one was offside, but the first one should have gone in. But I'm sorry, Baribo missed a tap in at one point. Damiani was non-existent in this entire game, and somehow he was the one that got left on for the whole 90 minutes. So we can talk about Cornell's substitution choices, and then Ure made a difference, I guess. There was he seemed to be the most active striker on the field, but he only got 30 minutes at it. So it's I don't know. Where are your forward? Like your defender, your right back could have scored, but where were your strikers all game long?
Yep. Yeah. I because there's going to be some changes up top going into next year. The only, as of recording, so Tuesday, this is the 25th of November, like Indiana Vassilev got re-signed, which good, makes sense. That's kind of your guy. You want to lock him up for a little bit. He played well this year. He can play pretty much any position you put him in. Awesome. The team, I don't think necessarily needs a $3.5 million forward. They need a guy that can score big goals.
they're getting a $3.5 million forward.
Yeah, and I want him to
allegedly.
be kind of. I want him to not disappear in these big games, because that's what happened to us against New York City. Yeah, Matt Freese played a hell of a game, but like you gotta convert these chances. And if you don't do that, you don't win games. If you don't win games, you don't win the Supporter Shield. So I don't know like what happens to this club after the regular season ends. But also, yeah, Justin, to your point, like Mikel Ura probably should have started this game. And then I don't think Damiani, like, dude, the only defense I think I have for him is this was year one. Now he knows what this all feels like, and hopefully he can come back in better shape or being able to find the back of the net more consistently. Because right now we have like 7
Yeah.
forwards, and I
mean,
trust like 2
Damiani,
of them.
but Damiani is almost a physical Ure because like he still brings a lot of that same defensive presence, and when it comes to the
Right.
Union press, like what he does is so important. But like you really do see how good we had it with Julian Carranza.
Yeah, absolutely.
With everything that has been happening since he's been here. Because like even with Baribo, it's just like he is and always has been such a streaky forward that just goes on runs of like, I'm gonna finish everything. But then like during the back half of the season, only had what 3 goals in 10 games. And then like kind of got his goals thrown at him against
Literally.
Chicago versus him scoring them himself. So it is just tough. And I mean, you always like look back at what could have been, but it's like, how different would all this have been if Quinn Sullivan was healthy?
At the same time, I go, we had our chances. It wasn't like this game was. I would not say that NYCFC dominated this game. It was not that.
No,
They got
that's the worst. That's the worst part.
they got one goal on, you know, they got one goal, which you can't always have a clean sheet, but that's where great teams figure out how to score goals. And so I think the Union just couldn't figure out how to score a goal. And sometimes when the Union have had these type of games, it's like you kind of look at the game and you go, where was Kai Wagner? But this game wasn't an instance of that. Wagner was in this game and throwing balls in the box pretty consistently. Like he was up that wing, he was not getting pinned back. Like he was doing what Kai Wagner does. And to the center back and Freeze's credit, like they were clearing a lot of stuff. But still, it's like Baribo, Damiani, Ure, whoever, you got to go and get your head on something, and you got to put it on frame for John Jacques. You know, like you got to put something, on frame. The other thing I'd say about Damiani is yes, he's a physical Ure in the sense that for his defensive work, yes, he's very much like Ure. The problem is he can't stretch the field the way Ure can on the offensive side. Like you're just not getting that same chasing balls down.
Apparently, no one outside of Frankie Westfield can.
Yeah, and I hope that's the top of the shopping list, or what we're bringing in. I haven't watched film on the kid we're bringing in. I don't. It doesn't do anything until they sign him, so I don't. It's not on the top of my list. But like, they need a vertical threat kind of guy, like Carranza was, that has a touch, that can finish, that can really open things up. Because I do, Justin, to your point, I mean, is Frankie Westfield some kind of like midfielder now? Like, I know we always talked about like having Kai and Frankie playing defense and being that vertical is a big deal and like really helpful. But they tried him in center midfield for the second game against Chicago, and he didn't look out of place except for 1 or 2 times. So it would be weird having a guy that like deputizes as a fullback or as a center mid, but you could do it, I guess.
I mean, if he gives you the wide threat that you need, which is what he does, he stays out by the touchline and then comes in right at the last second, like he did on both the shot opportunities that he had. Like, that is a really good threat to have, and it allows you to, like, if you put Nate Harriel in the right back spot, then it allows you to essentially have 3 center backs on the field because they can kind of shift back, and Nate can stay back. And thinking about Glesnes surrounded by Makanya and Harriel, like that's like a solid big defender with 2 speedy guys who can catch up with anybody, which is a pretty good thought. And so I don't actually mind that thought. I just
No.
I probably I would have put Westfield on the field to start this game. I'm not sure why he didn't start the game either. But it, what could have been, I guess, in some ways, but still, I think, I don't know. Nate has not given enough to this team to, I feel, warrant a, start in the biggest game of the season.
Yeah, that was confusing.
At least the one positive thing, I guess, is that as of right now, you only lose 2 and I guess 1.5 players who matter on contracts expiring this offseason. Because the other is Alejandro Bedoya, which, like, as with always, is this one it? It's got to be, right? He's got his job with U.S. Soccer. Scott Padell. Maybe he wants to stick around in some other capacity, but not playing right back for this team.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, he's got 2 shields, right? Like that's a fairly small group of people.
And just everything that has happened with the Philadelphia Union since he signed for this team is
it's insane.
Just absurd.
That's probably
the true turning point.
If he hangs it up soon, I think that turns into, or really at any point when he turns it in, I think that becomes an episode in and of itself. It's just kind of a Alejandro Bedoya timeline. All right, so he started here and we were absolutely dog shit, and then we got a little bit better. And now we're somewhere in between, depending on the week. Yeah.
Talking about players leaving, hanging it up. I had a thought as Andrew Rick gave Andre Blake a hug going into the game.
Well, Justin, we had a similar thought.
Oh God!
Is that the last save that Andre Blake ever makes in a Philadelphia uniform?
Considering Andre Blake hurt himself making that save and has spent more and more time hurt, and I think we've kind of like approached this discussion without like actually wanting to have it. But like it could be. And I mean, that would suck a lot because like even at his best, Andrew Rick isn't Andre Blake because no one is. But also this is probably the most prepared that the Union have been for if Andre Blake decides to hang it up during his entire career.
Andrew Rick is the best keeper, like the best backup keeper we've had at 19.
There you go.
Yep. In Andre Blake, Matt Freese was not this good at 19.
No.
Matt Freese was not this good at 22.
I mean, yeah, because you have Matt Freese, Romero wasn't that good at 19.
Romero was not close at 19.
Never got. I mean, like.
Well, no. You had CJ Dos Santos, who is now doing great things. You had Chris Shakes, who is now doing great things. You had, I think that's most of Romero.
Point being,
CJ DeSantos even being on this roster at one point is kind of funny to think about because he was never getting a look in over the other keepers around him.
Yeah, and they tried to be really upset when he left for Benfica, and it's like, you would absolutely do the same thing.
Andrew, and that's my point. But Andrew Rick, what did they say as he was coming in the game? He's 13 games and 6 clean sheets this year or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is like wild. At 19, you drop in 6 clean sheets in MLS. You'll take that.
It is the most apparent you're okay if this is your number one now. That we've had. There's a lot of hindsight, doing a lot of work there where you look at Matt and you're like, oh, that could have been, or you look at Tomas or whatever. I mean, Matt's the most obvious one because he plays for, right up 95. But yeah, it's I didn't necessarily have a did the injury do it kind of thing, but it's like, all right, what does Andre Blake need to prove himself as one of the best keepers in Major League Soccer ever?
I also forget that Andre Blake is 35.
Yes.
And if he actually goes to the World Cup with Jamaica, like, yeah, what is there to check off?
Yeah, and that's what I feel like he needs 6 months of game time. That's all he needs in his career at this point. Is like he could go to Austin and play in Austin for the first half of next season, play the World Cup, and then be like, deuces, I'm out.
I mean, he could go to Cavalier.
Any team in the league would be, any team in MLS would be like, yeah, we'll take him for 6 months.
Wow, Chuck, that was a pull. That was incredible. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's true. I don't know what Dre needs to prove.
I do at least want to make it clear, none of us are advocating for his departure.
No. No. He is obviously a very loyal person. You don't play for the Union for as long as he has, and then play for the Jamaican national team for as long as he has, without some sort of psychopathic level of loyalty to the things that you've been doing for a decade. But from a what is my legacy individually standpoint, and I mean, we're biased, I guess, but I don't think there's anyone that has played in this league at goalkeeper at the same time as him that has stood out more than Dre has individually.
He's old enough that he's had crossover with Nick Raimondo.
Yep, I was going to say, I guess Nick Raimondo and
that's
Luis
about
Robles.
It.
Yeah, it's like Raimondo, Robles, and Blake.
Yeah,
I think are like the 3 guys. But there's, I don't know. I would be happy with my career if I could look back and go, you could ask pretty much anyone that's a casual fan of this league, and they know who I am, and they know I was really good for a long time. So anyway, the inverse Ray Gaddis conversation where we have to defend how good of a person he is with how bad of a player we thought he was. Yeah, we're okay if there is no more Andre Blake after this year.
It's just funny because it almost made it seem like you were about to make a Chris Donovan segue, since he is someone who's also technically out of contract but has club options that hopefully won't be picked up.
And you know what the club option for that contract is, Chuck? They can recycle it or they can throw it in the fucking trash can.
I mean, if he wants to play for Next Pro.
And Subaru Park is a net neutral carbon stadium, so they threw it in the recycling bin. Sorry. Forgot that for 2 seconds. Anyway, very glad to see the back of Chris Donovan. I hope he has a great time playing for the Tulsa Roughnecks next year.
I would actually trade forwards with the Tulsa Roughnecks. Well,
what, just a roster spot?
Not that anymore.
No. Give them Chris Donovan, and we get their starting forward.
I mean,
nobody.
you're talking about the team that played against the Riverhounds the other day. I'd take their starting forward pretty easily over Chris Donovan.
He's also a UMBC grad, so even more
Nice.
reason why.
Good rebrand.
Makanya had a really good game, I
He
thought.
did. He is so good.
He's so gone, and I'm so,
He's so gone.
like not no.
He's so
It's
good.
so
like,
cool.
He's so gone.
If you because like if you could think of one player from the Union who's gonna get like that they're gonna get a $5 million offer for with no sporting
Captain
director
Sullivan,
to
it already
actually
happened.
accept
Come
it.
on, where you been? Where you been?
It's Makanya. Like
Oh.
there just feels like there's such a slim chance that he's on this team come February. I don't
It
want
would be
that
nice
to be
if
the
we
case.
had Glavinovich still. Oh wait,
I still could see them trying to negotiate getting him back on a cheaper deal because I don't remember what the original. I don't remember what the initial option was. I think it was like $2 million, but like obviously you're not spending that. But it seems like at least he liked being here and the team liked having him here, and he was at least effective while he was on the field.
Well, until he injured himself. But yeah.
But it's just like that's why it's like if you can get that down, like because even if Makanya stayed, you still need 2 center backs right now.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And I mean, you do have one coming up through the academy, but like he should be center back 4, not 2.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Although a lot of us didn't think that Makanya should have been center back 2 this year, and he clearly outperformed expectations.
We at least knew Makanya would be center back 3.
Yes, no, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Or
I mean, the surprise. I would say the surprise of the season is still Frankie Westfield because, like,
for sure,
I don't think anyone expected him to start as right back 1 to start the season and then just be like, "Hey, Nate, bye."
Yeah.
No.
I think we were all of the camp of like he'll be good, but like, or he'll be fine, but like he's not going to play that much. And now we're like, I don't know. Have you tried center back, Frank? No, maybe.
No, we already have one of those right back, center back players too.
Right. Yeah, it's center back number 2 on our depth chart, Nate Harriel. Welcome, starting right back for your 2026 Philadelphia Union, Nick Periana.
Also, is as of right now, Glesnes set to be the oldest player on the squad next year.
Ray coming back? Is Alejandro Bedoya coming?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I still think Bedoya is on this roster next year, but who knows?
Listen. I love saying that as much as the rest of you.
To see what I'm fascinated to see what Bedoya does this offseason because, like, I mean,
we try to do like
walk in Carnell's office and say I want a league minimum contract?
Well, actually, Chuck, you know what's funny is we should slot him in as our new sporting director.
Hold on. Before we get too much into off-season stuff, like we'll get there. We have a whole off-season to talk about what's happening in the off-season. Anything else about the game before we move on to our sporting director?
Yeah, Alejandro
or our lack of sporting director.
No, well, no.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think the summation of the game is just like it's hard to be like mad at a team that at the beginning of the season you expected to just squeak into the playoffs, and then they went on and won the Supporters Shield and already secured being in CONCACAF Champions Cup next year.
Yep.
It just sucks that that's how they went out.
And who
especially
they went out.
after all the injuries and suspensions that NYC racked up, especially since like this team as is going to see Miami put 5 goals past them this weekend.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah. I would agree with a lot of that, Chuck, for sure. In other union news, Ernst Tanner, our sporting director, is now on administrative leave. What is it with my teams and administrative leave this year?
You love a allegedly inappropriate comment in your team's front offices.
Well,
apparently,
the Tanner
apparently,
the Tanner stuff is like interesting because even every single time that like someone was saying something was like, yeah, I mean, we already knew he wasn't a good guy. Just no one thought he was this level of a piece of shit.
Right.
So to sum up the story, I guess there's been lots of allegations over the years. MLS did an investigation, closed the investigation. I guess found out enough new information that they reopened the investigation, and the union put Ernst on administrative leave, or the league put him. I don't know who put him on administrative leave. Somebody put him on administrative leave. So now I don't know where that leaves us.
I mean,
Alejandro Bedoya is sporting director for 2026.
That's exactly where it leaves us. Jim Curtin, sporting director.
You can't have two investigations into allegations and allegations that also include sexual assault,
right?
Because there was touching involved in that, not just his words, and then continue on being the sporting director of the team. Like, we've already like had a quarter of that with Kai Wagner, and that caused enough issues by itself that even people are conflicted still cheering for him as he plays for this team and is a best 11 left back. That for such a public position as being the literal sporting director, it's got to be over, especially since like we've seen over the years that the union are never like a one-man show in the front office. Like, even when Ernie Stewart left, there were still like good aspects of what was left behind by Stewart.
Yeah.
And then things that got cleaned up when he left. And when Tanner hopefully departs as well, it's not like this team's going to stop moving forward.
Well, and like, obviously not the way you want to like come into a job being open, but you don't have a really hard sell here as far as, you know, whoever you want to bring in is going to look at the job and go, well, why would I want to take over that? Because like the club has done a good job at developing this team into what it is now, and a lot of the hard work of building the foundation and having the academy and things that you're seeing like a couple clubs just start to kind of get into in a really like impactful way is already here. So yeah, like if to Chuck's point, like you don't reopen an investigation if you're just going to be like, and we closed it again. Like this is not, you're not doing that for fun. Especially as like a league that, you know, probably doesn't need another black eye in the PR department, sort of thing. That being said, yeah, this is a pretty cut and dry, not to speak for everybody here, but to speak for everybody here, if he did like any of this stuff, like get the fuck. We don't have time or space for that. And like Chuck said, it's been weird enough with the whole Kai Wagner thing, that we really don't need to keep somebody on that's done like, I don't know, 35 worse things. Yeah, we're good. Thanks.
Yeah, I think, and I don't say things the way I said any of that to advocate that Ernst should be here next year or didn't do the things that he did. I think it's obviously
there's the official versus
yes.
Yeah, because we do still need, you know, the official. He did them. It's just, you know, seeming like a lot too much, way too much smoke that he did them, or at least some of them, which is still too many of them. It's a lot of things. Like,
Not like
feel free to
MLS
look
finds
in.
that Ernst Tanner did 7 of the 37 things, and so we're keeping him on because
Yeah,
that doesn't meet our threshold of abuse or whatever. And you're like, no.
yeah. Feel free to look at the Guardian's reporting on it,
Yes,
because
very
it
good.
is, and also it is one of the great like reasons and why investigative reporting is important, because if that article doesn't come out, nothing happens. Um, and like can't speak to what information MLS had when this was done the first time, but like clearly either A, not a deep enough look was taken, or B, they didn't have enough information, and they sure have more now.
And to that point, like, I mean, I totally agree with you, especially being a River Hounds fan and having been, having the head coach on administrative leave for what, a month and a half now, and
Yeah,
we still have not heard a single thing of what happened, what the allegations are, what the
yeah. Acting
reasoning
head
is,
coach
what the
Rob
next.
Vincent did a really good job in that final.
Well,
And
even
the
if you just
point
want to
for
go back to, we still don't know what Bruce Arena officially did. He is
Shit.
coaching the San Jose Earthquakes.
yeah, and the point I'm making in all of that is like it's it is one of those things that like on the USL level, there's not enough good journalists to be asking these questions and being, like digging into these stories where, it takes 3 days or 4 days after the USL final to realize that, oh, they canceled the trophy presentation because of the shirts before, like it's there's just not enough good journalists. And I'm not saying anything about the good journalists that there are, because there's a ton of good journalists at the USL level. But when the Guardian steps in and says, hey, there's this thing happening at the Union, obviously then the Union is put to task to be like, no, we actually have to release the information, or we have to say what's happening, or we have to make a statement, and all that kind of stuff. So it is helpful when there's good investigative journalism happening.
Well, and so just because I feel bad, we're like sort of shooting strays at like some of our friends. If there was people in the USL world that got paid full time to just write about the league, like if they had a Tom Bogert with teeth or like a Jeff Reuter, that would happen quicker. But like the best journalism that's happening in the USL is being done in the Discord channel, and like that's cool. And I love the DIY backyard about that, but that doesn't get out to where it needs to get out to at the speed that it should get out at. Uh,
Yes,
which is,
I'm not.
is
I am not taking.
yeah.
I am not taking shots at any of our friends.
No,
I love our friends who do journalism on the USL level. There's just
we're
not
saying
enough
all of
of
it
it,
out of
and
love.
not of yeah.
But I also here to throw one
Well, I mean, it's
MLS's
also
way,
funny because I do journalism at the USL level, but do
and
not
You
you're
have
one
do.
of
enough
the good
time to do
ones.
as much, and do not have enough time to do as much as I would like to.
Right, right. Because it also doesn't drive any clicks, and we all are acutely aware of that.
Yeah,
But I will
the
say,
USL Discord does not have enough people to.
it's got enough people. No, but I will say it is a little bit of an indictment on the Athletic that the Guardian had to break this. And I enjoy Tom Bogert's writing, but I do not think he is a journalist in the traditional sense. So yeah, the right amount of pressure was put on this. I'm glad the Guardian did it, to Justin's point, but he's
Uh,
not. He's he's not a journalist. He is a very very well connected man that gets scoops,
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
and there is
Um,
totally a place for that. But like we don't have anyone in this country that can do hard hitting soccer journalism anymore.
so we'll see what happens with Ernst in the front office over the next couple weeks. Obviously, lots of decisions to be made. Lots of some contract stuff. Some, one of those was figured out today with Vasilov's contract being extended. All of that, but lots of stuff to talk about in the off season. We will certainly talk about all of it as we move through the next, what feels like 6 weeks, and then we're back to preseason again
Yeah,
already. Um, but that's the quote unquote pain of having a team that went pretty far in the MLS Cup playoffs. You know, some of our podcasting friends have been done for a month and a half already, and we're still here.
Yeah, we're here. It's fine.
And a week from now, we'll have roster decisions because
Yeah,
that's the joy of getting knocked out of the playoffs is that you have a week to get those in.
yeah. And then I think we'll have some transfer news on a podcasting front here in a bit as well. So that's exciting.
Maybe we'll see.
Maybe, yeah.
Well,
see if our sources come through.
Well, all we need to do is just apply a lot of peer pressure.
That's fine.
That's true. That's true. We can do that. We can do that.
Well, and I'm going to do something Jeff Ruder wishes he could do. That's kick some doors down to put some pressure on some executives. Anyway, welcome back, New York Cosmos. Yeah.
No, group trip to New Jersey.
For the Cosmos.
I don't have anything else. Any final thoughts on this game, this season at large before we get out of here today?
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you again very, very soon. We'll figure out a off-season recording schedule. We'll have some episodes between now and February when we start again, and we'll let you know about all the news, all the signings. Once we sign this forward, then we'll talk about that too. We'll talk about lots of stuff over the next couple weeks, and then be back with more Union content next season. And so we'll see you again very, very soon.